Hey there. I decided to make a quick video to show you some things that I've been working on. For this video, I'm going to talk a bit about code scanning or static application security testing or SAST. I've been actually playing with the Snyk Code Security tool, which provides you with code scanning right in your IDE, and it has AI capabilities with DeepCode AI to provide fixes to those potential vulnerabilities as well. So I've been really intrigued by this. I like the idea of having the code scan right in the IDE because this is giving developers fast feedback as they're learning how to adopt more secure coding practices. They don't have to commit and push their changes and wait for a full pipeline to run to get any information about potential new vulnerabilities that they're introducing. They can see it right as they're making their code changes. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And for today, I'm using Visual Studio Code as my IDE. You can see that I have a code repository that has been cloned into my local workspace. This is demo Java. It's a very simple Java project to show a couple of different vulnerabilities that you might see with Java projects. So far, I have just made a couple of changes just to check some things out, but I've created this new feature branch that I am now going to be working from. And I have installed the Snyk extension, the Snyk security extension, and run an initial code security scan as well. So we can see that so far we have one vulnerability or issue that's potentially a vulnerability with a SQL injection in this index controller.java file. Now what I'm going to do is replace this Maven wrapper downloader Java file with a different version of the file that I know has some additional vulnerabilities in it. Now, what we'll notice is that as soon as I save my file, I am going to see a new Snyk scan run. So I'm going to just we'll watch it through the output here as well. I'm going to do a Command S. And we're going to see the Snyk code scanning running. Oops, and that's what I wanted to see. Sorry, there in the problems. I now see that there are a set of path traversal issues reported by Snyk code. So this is interesting. This allows me to now navigate through them and see the different vulnerabilities that are being found. So that's one way that I can navigate through and start to understand where my code is potentially vulnerable. The other way that and I can apply a fix right from here as well. The other way that I can do it is I'm looking at the Snyk output from the code security scan here. And now I can go and see the complete detail of the vulnerability. It shows me a link to the Snyk learning database that provides me with additional context about what this vulnerability is, why it's bad, provides some sandbox environments to help me play around with fixing. So that's a nice way for developers to start learning how to code more securely. It does provide an overview of the vulnerability and what it's about, why I should care, and also some best practices when available to avoid introducing this type of vulnerability. And then with the fix analysis, you probably already saw this button, but here I can generate a fix using Snyk DeepCode AI. So what it's doing now is it's looking through its database for potential fixes and validating those fixes before providing them as potential solutions to me. So I can see in this case, it has 5 different solutions. I can go through and look at all of them and see what the differences are between them. If I find one that I think makes best sense in this particular case, I can go ahead and apply the fix. And now that change has been applied to my file. Again, as soon as I save my changes, it is going to run an additional scan and it should now remove the vulnerabilities since they are no longer found in this particular file. So now we don't see any of, we see a couple of Java issues, but we don't see any Snyk vulnerabilities reported here or on the sidebar as well. So that's all great news. Now, I want to point out that I haven't actually committed any code, pushed any code, run a pipeline yet. If I go ahead and just look at my Git status, and I know I can do that not from the command line over here as well, but I do have one modified file. That's the vulnerable code that I just introduced and then fixed. So that's great. Now I can go ahead, commit and push my changes, kick off a pipeline. I still want the SAS scan to run as part of a pipeline. We, of course, want to ensure that no high or critical vulnerabilities are making it into our code base and potentially going to staging environments in production. We want to be able to put some gating around that if, in case we do find vulnerabilities that need fixing before they get pushed to the main branch. So still add them as part of your pipelines, but since this is all part of learning how to code well and securely, having the feedback right from the IDE is also extremely helpful. All right, that concludes today's video. I hope you found it useful. Thanks.